Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. I know it's busy season ramping up towards Christmas, but really appreciate you taking the time to chat about Otivo and our latest launch. So my name is Joanna Lawson. I'm the head of product here at Otivo. And today we're going to be talking about our new debt management module. So let's dive in. So as I hope you all know, Otivo is more than just financial education. We're all about providing simple, easy to follow strategies to give you the confidence to take control of your finances. And more specifically today, take control of your debt so that you can be better off tomorrow. Today, the rough plan is that I'll walk you through how Aussies are dealing with their debt. A little education piece around what good debt is and bad debt, and then why I know you're all here is for that live product demo of what we've launched. We'll wrap up with a Q&A at the end, so please leave your questions in the chat. My colleagues are there and ready to help, and I'll try and address them for you at the end. If we don't manage to get to them all, we'll be sure to follow up with an email. So, the numbers don't lie. Debt is a big burden for many Australians, and I'm sure you feel the pressure too. The average household debt in Australia is a massive $260,000. 3 in 4 households are dealing with debt right now. Over 5 million Australians have struggled to make their repayments, and many just don't feel comfortable asking for help. That's a huge 40% of Australians that are stressed about their debt, and the rising costs of living are certainly not helping. You've all seen the headlines and felt the pressure. It's real. There is such thing as good debt. It can work as an investment for you. It can help you build wealth or achieve long-term financial goals. This is things like a mortgage, so buying a home that appreciates in value, or investing in skills like your education to increase that earning potential moving forward. An investment loan is also a good example of what good debt can be. But what we're here today to discuss is that bad debt, the debt that drains your finances without future benefits. So it doesn't generate value and it can lead to financial stress. The biggest type of bad debt is your credit card, those high interest borrowings for non-essential items. 48% of Australians have credit card debt today. Buy now and pay later is another example of bad debt. Overspending on items that you can't afford upfront. And 22% of Australians have this today. So that's why we built our debt module to help address these concerns. So on average, those that have followed our debt advice have saved $1,200 on their credit cards and $50,000 on their mortgages. Those aren't figures to sneeze at, and we're really proud to be able to share. What our debt module aims to do is allow you to see all of your household debts securely in one spot. So a consolidated list so that you don't forget anything that's looming out there. We then look to prioritize those high interest debts to help you focus on what's really important. We look to understand how much interest you save by taking action, all to encourage you to take that first step. We hope that you can save big with the personalised advice that we offer at the cut costs and the cheaper version being online. We provide tailored advice so that you can knock out those loans sooner. So with that in mind, let's dive into, I know why you're all here, but the live demonstration. So you will have seen this dashboard logging in as an existing user. And if you're a new user, once you've answered those onboarding questions, this is the screen that you'll see. This is what we call our dashboard, and these are our tiles. So we have a new one down here, which is what we'll enter to get into debt. So it's titled, How Can I Pay Off My Loans Faster? There is also the other option of diving into your debt. From the left navigation here, you'll see it says debt and info needed. All of these other tiles still exist, all of our other modules still exist and are available to you at all an annual fee of the same price. So when we click into debt, similar to what you have experienced, we provide an overview of how our advice works. So the debt advice that you will receive looks at different types of debts, the payment details that you've shared, your household income and your salary. So read through all of this, make sure that it does apply to you, and then by all means, please proceed. We'll then come in and ask you one additional question. When you onboard with Otivo from the start, you will answer what your total monthly expenses are. Before we get cracking, we do just need to clarify what your monthly living expenses are. So you'll see here, you previously, or this example, previously told us that their total household expenses were $4,000. So now we just need to look at that without your debt payments. So say we spend $1,000 on groceries or other direct debits throughout the month. We input that $1,000 and away we go. We've unlocked the debt module. So this is what we call your debt plan page, and it will be where you return to see your advice, add or remove new debts that you have. We have the total up here and a few of our consistent flags saying info needed here, asking for just a bit more detail around each debt before we can provide advice. I've pre-planted here both a credit card and a mortgage, given they are the two most common forms of debt that Australians see today. So I hope that's okay, but you can absolutely have a play around in your own account in your own time. So when we click into the top one, which is the credit card being the Visa account, you're taken directly to the details page here with the information that you previously input when you first started your account. The only information that we need here is your current repayment, and we do calculate the minimum repayment underneath here. So if we just say that we pay the minimum, we'll put in $360 and we'll click save. You'll then notice that this status over here still says info needed. So whilst we do have an overview page here, I would encourage you to come back to the debt plan page so that we can fill out all of the details about your other debt and see which debt we recommend that you pay off first by order of priority. So you'll see home loan here, we'll click info needed, come back to a bit more of a details page, excuse the pun, but obviously mortgages are a little more complex. So we take into consideration the offset balance as well. We need to enter a remaining term, say we've got 24 years, and the current repayment. So again, we'll just pay the minimum, so 2646 for this example here. Once we click save, it'll then shift you back to the overview page, and you'll see we now have advice ready. So from the debt plan page here, we've now completed all details and we're ready to tell you what you should do next. So here, the flag indicating that you should pay off this debt first is by far and wide because of the interest rate, that it's a 21% interest rate that you are being charged on your credit card, and your home loan here is at 6.09%. So if we click into our Visa credit card, this is where the overview page comes into its own. So firstly, we show this graph, which is a great visual representation of the difference between just making your minimum payments and taking our recommendation. So this blue line here is the minimum repayment amount of $360. So if you were to pay $360, this is when you would pay off your credit card. The table down here explains it as well, that it would take 4 years and 2 months, and it would cost you $6,360 in total interest. Our recommendation here is that you up that monthly payment to $1,760 based on your excess cash flow, and you could pay it off within 8 months. That would be a total interest cost of $2,080, which saves you a massive $4,200 in interest. Granted, that sounds like a lot, so we've implemented this slider here to let you play around, to let you see exactly what you feel comfortable in changing and what that would impact for in terms of how long it will take you to pay off your credit card. So as you can see here, if you move this slider along, maybe you only feel comfortable upping your payments to $930. This third line here will show you how quickly you can pay it off, and we will calculate under here how much interest you can save. So $4,440. Pretty neat. If you continue to scroll down here, you'll see we do also provide another option to pay down your debt faster. So you've previously told us that you have $20,000 in savings. So you may also consider paying this down in a lump sum to your credit card. So we know your balance is $20,000. Let's say you want to pay $10,000 off. So we enter $10,000. I have made this payment. We will confirm that we have saved it, and your recommendation here will change. The amount you have available in cash savings is now $10,000 less, and the balance is now $2,000. So you'll see everything is interactive. The way you tweak the slider or the way you change a payment, we will then recalibrate the advice to ensure that it is up to date as possible. So if you decide you want to pay it off completely now, you can always come back in, enter $2,000. I have made this payment. We'll confirm, does this final $2,000 get rid of your visa? Yes, I will pay it off. And we'll then celebrate with you too. So next option here is to ask you to keep the loan in your list of debts or to remove it. And we're going to remove it here just so that we can move on to what the next priority debt would be. So well done, you've paid off your credit card. We then shift to your home loan. So you've entered all the details that you've needed to, and our new recommendation is that you can still, with the excess cash savings that you have per month, up these payments too. So again, you'll see the same consistent graph. The blue line showing your monthly repayments today and where that will leave you, and the red line showing our recommendation and how you can shave off time and thereby save interest. Again, the slider here will have the same interaction, but let's try and action a payment and see what that does. So here, say that we want to take the recommendation. We're suggesting 4154. So we enter that here. You'll see the graph shifts, both the current and the recommended is the same. The amount that we save in interest is also the same down here. So if you decide, yes, I can do this, yes, I want to do this, we then encourage you to come in here and click action this advice. We will summarize what you're committing to do, and that's paying off this home loan in 9 years and 7 months, as opposed to previously or existing payments would get you to pay it off in 17 years and 4 months. So unfortunately, we can't go to your bank and actually make this shift for you, but we will step it out 1, 2, 3 on how you can do it yourself and get there. Once you've done that, we encourage you to come in and say, I have actioned this advice, so that we know and we can take into consideration this change in monthly expenses for you. So you'll see that the status changes to actioned, as does our debt plan. You can always come back in and reset this advice and change it if need be. But for now, we would take that as you've actioned it. If you have another debt and you think, okay, let's add it here, we encourage you again to put everything onto this page so you can keep a consolidated view and so we can take a holistic plan of your finances. You simply click here, add a debt. We support credit card, car loan, personal loan, mortgage, and investment loan. So let's try adding a personal loan. Maybe you need some home renovations, balance of $8,000 at a 10% interest rate. So you've got 4 years left on this, and your current repayment is again the minimum. So you'd click save here. We'll automatically take you back to this overview page and provide a recommendation on this loan for you. Given this loan has a higher interest rate at 10% than your home loan, this is the one that we'd like you to focus on now. So we really try to encourage you just to look at the first priority loan and that one step that you can take in order to be better off. So here, again, the same formula applies. We provide what the minimum payment would take you to and what our current payment would take you to. We shift along and all of the numbers change in time. So we take back to the debt plan page, and you will see here that the home renovations is now the priority debt. You may ask how we calculate these numbers, and rest assured we have had them checked. But we do explain here why we've made this recommendation and then how we've landed on the number that we provide. So essentially, we start with your income after tax and the compulsory super that's taken out each month, which you answer upon onboarding with Otivo. We then subtract your monthly expenses and take 30% of that. We then add that to your current payment to make sure that the recommended amount will always leave you okay. So in each of these calculations, for each of these different types of debt, we will explain these calculations and step it out for you so you can check them yourself. At any time, you can come over here and download your SOA, and you can also change any of the SOA being, statement of advice, which is a fantastic transaction report of the advice that we have provided you. You can also come in and change any of the inputs as your situation changes under your financial summary here. So with that, I will head back to the presentation and see if there have been any questions. But first, how to get started with Otivo. Now you've seen it, I'm sure you want to have a play around yourself and see how your situation could be better off. Firstly, you can directly log in through otivo.com with your existing credentials, or if you're new, click Get Started and answer some of those early onboarding questions. Through your employer's site, if you have it as an offering with work, or also via your employee assistance program. For those users of Wellbeing Gateway, you can log into Otivo through the Wellbeing Gateway app by accessing the Otivo link in the menu on the right-hand side. We can't wait for you to have a look and to let us know how you've gone. With that, do we have any questions? Okay, yes, what if my offset account increases? Good question. You would have noticed that the offset was a field for the home loan. I can absolutely go back to my demo here. Perfect. If we click back into the debt plan and into our home loan, all fields and details per debt can be changed and edited under this details tab up here. So if you click here, you'll see that the offset balance field down here. So say after Christmas or the holidays, you get a bit of a bonus. We can absolutely add, say, $50,000 to your offset balance and then click Save here. We do have this warning to say that this will save and reset your advice because you now have a surplus, or sorry, not a surplus, but additional $50,000 of funds. So just make sure you want to confirm, save and reset advice. And you will see that we take this figure into consideration in your cash savings, that you now have $50,000 more with which you could consider paying down some of your debts faster. Nice. How do I change the payment frequency? Again, great question, and you'll find that under the details tab here. So I think most of these questions will be answered just by going to details, but you can change it here to say weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. So if we click fortnightly here, interestingly, if you try to navigate away from the page to any other area, we will warn you that you haven't clicked save. So please note that we have those guardrails there in case you do step away from the computer or the phone and want to come back. So we'll click continue editing here. Make sure we click save. Very important. Save and reset our advice. Perfect. And you'll notice here that the recommendation changes to fortnightly. Fortnightly payments, fortnightly amount. We'll adjust it based on your wishes for those kind of frequencies. I will just take one more question before wrapping up. I will be sure to address any other questions in a follow-up email along with this recording link. But the last question, what if I pay off my credit card each month? Brilliant. We love that. Amazing. You can absolutely add that here. We won't address it, given you pay it off monthly, but you'll notice when you add a debt, the credit card, or again under the details page, we have this option here, is this card paid off monthly? So you would simply click yes. It would still list under your debt plan. Say you got fancy and got an Amex Rose Gold with a balance of $4,000 with an interest rate of 17%. We would click save here and head back to your debt plan page, and you would notice that we show that it's paid monthly here. So with that, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that it's been valuable and you've been able to navigate around the system a little easier when you next log in. If you do have any questions, please reach out to support@otivo.com. We look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing you engage with our new debt module. Thank you very much.